This mic working? Awesome. Guess I'm up here to discuss my third grade teacher, Mrs. Wilson. Yeah, so I had Mrs. Wilson in the third grade. It was at maybe one of those unnamed North Macon private schools where a lot of people went to country clubs, but I did not go to a country club. We're not mentioning names here of certain private schools. But anyway, at this particular private school with Mrs. Wilson, I was in her class. I was, what did the doctors diagnose me with? When I was born, or when I was about 2 years old, it was noted that I was developmentally delayed. I was a premature baby. For those who don't know, I was a premature baby. I was, my gestational period within my mother's womb was for 8 months and not the typical 9 months. So because of this, I had issues with coordination, motor planning, gross motor planning, fine motor skills, kinesthetic awareness, proprioceptive awareness, all these fun things. Basically, it meant that, you know, when your teacher gives you art projects to do in class, and it's those things like, you know, follow the line and cut out little bunny foo-foo for Easter, or cut out this little pink flower for the Cherry Blossom Festival because we are celebrating the Cherry Blossom Festival in our class. I was really bad at those. I had a hard time with things like cutting on the line and following connect the dots, because I would start following something, but it sure as hell was not connecting the dots. You asked me to color something, the color was way outside the line. Once again, it probably ended up on the desk because I had really poor coordination with coloring. So, you know, it's Christmas time, and we have those projects where we are having to cut out things like Christmas trees and with tissue paper and, I don't know, Santa Claus beards with cotton balls. And do you guys remember those paper things, like those paper chains where you go, you fold up the paper, you draw something on it, and then you cut it out, and it comes out like a chain, like it could be like people holding hands or something? Well, we had this one assignment, and where we had to like trace a reindeer and fold up the paper, and then we cut it out, and it'd be a bunch of little reindeers connected to each other, I think by their antlers or something. And, well, first off, me being Jewish, I don't really give a shit about Dancer and Prancer, or whatever. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, what my parents told me and what Saturday Night Live told me was our Hanukkah Harry. He was really our, he was our person, and he drove a black Isuzu with a yellow stripe down the side from 1986. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm all about the black Isuzu with the yellow stripes, not about Rudolph and his little nose. So, here we are, where this is going back to the assignment, sitting here trying to trace this reindeer, and it's not really working out for me, let's say. It's not really looking much like a reindeer here. I don't know what it's looking like, but sure as hell is not a reindeer. It may have resembled the Isuzu more so. And I go do it, and then I cut it out, and of course, here I am cutting it out, and if it was not resembling a reindeer before, it is definitely not resembling a reindeer now. And we cut it out, and I think half of mine broke apart somehow, I don't know, whatever. And the teacher goes and she puts it on the bulletin board, Miss Wilson puts it on the bulletin board outside the classroom. I'm like, okay, whatever. I was used to my art being the shittiest art amongst everybody, and I was, you know, it was just something I had grown accustomed to. Well, a couple days later, Miss Wilson pulls me outside of the classroom, and she points to it, and she says, Shannon, this really doesn't look right. This really is unacceptable. I would like to thank Miss Wilson, because I believe she contributed to me being 45 minutes late to Storytellers tonight, because I was in a therapy session at 34 years old. But if there's anything I learned, Mrs. Wilson lied to me. It is okay for your reindeers to not resemble reindeers.